comic book lookers, what's going on? It's your boy John on Demerica coming at you. Boom! Catchphrase. Hanging out with the real Sergeant America. Sorry.
John on Demerica?
My poser campaign is officially over, and I totally apologize, you guys. So anyways, you guys, the comic book look issue, I have no idea because I have not edited one of these in a minute. I think Tom did the last one or two ago. I don't know. I'm off. But with that, we're coming live. Not live. I'm editing this.
Yeah.
I'm off my game.
Live from the car.
Live from the car. Anyways, we just had some awesome din-din. It was cool. Sunlight still. It is like, what, 6?
Yes.
Something like that. So that's a miracle for Sioux Falls itself. Other thing I'll point out really quick, you guys, if I'm looking off this way or that way, I'm filming on reverse on my cell phone. My camera is on the bottom right there, and I will try to look at it, but my eye usually goes towards me because I'm like, God, I look stunning. So anyways, we are going to talk about something that just happened recently. Something amazing. What adjective would you give it?
Bloody.
Bloody. It's
bloody awesome.
Kind of like a great steak. We know all about that here in South Dakota.
Oh, yeah.
So we're talking about Logan, you guys. Logan the movie. We're going to give you an honest, spoiler-filled review.
Yes.
So if you haven't seen it yet, stop watching here and subscribe to us or bookmark this video. Come back to us when you have seen it. We're going to get right into it. So do you want to do the goods or the bads?
Might as well start with the good. Okay. I mean, the bads, I think, are all just going to be nitpicking.
Agreed.
All right.
Strongly agreed. And that's the first good. I don't have a lot of complaints about this movie. I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like this is kind of what I needed to really jumpstart my year in the theater. Yep. Strong film. It's personally what I've been waiting for, being an X-Men fan over the years. So it was pretty cool. And there were a lot of great notes to it. So that's my overview of it. I loved it. I was shocked. I was surprised. I was sad. I was wowed. It's everything that you want it to be and more. And so a film that delivers is definitely a good film in my book.
Yeah. So. I mean, I went to it with my my wife, and of course, she likes the X-Men movies, popcorn movies, you know, over the top, end of the world, something happens, blah, blah, blah. This was just solid story with, like we said, a lot of blood. And I would say maybe that was the number one thing. It was we did see the realistic blood on the weapons. You know, we saw people get, you know, the claws to the head, the claws come out and blood. Of course, my wife cringed through half the movie. I guess you could say that maybe was a negative. For me, it was a positive. It was very awesome to see that.
It's a good bonding experience. Right?
Yeah. And I mean, like we said, to begin this, the movie-going season for us, it was very solid to have a movie with a solid story to it, too. Oh. It didn't have to worry about the continuity. It didn't have to worry about sequels, prequels, whatever else. It was a self-contained story, and I think that was something that is often being missed, that maybe with these R-rated movies, they're going to be able to do is tell one-shots.
Yep.
So maybe you can consider this a what-if. I know we're bigger on continuity than some other people are. Mm-hmm. I love my what-ifs. I know John likes a lot of those crazy stories, too.
They're all true.
Yeah.
Especially the Dark Avengers one.
Yes, indeed.
Totally true.
Or, you know, you could just say alternate worlds, whatever. But, I mean, it was just a solid story.
Agreed. Character-wise,
yep.
Everybody had a chance to shine. Yep. Everybody. Patrick Stewart hit it out of the park as Professor X. Yep. Loved that rendition of him. Totally turned my onboarding with Charles in the 90s upside down, because I'm used to this dude that just knows everything that's going on, A-game, stable. This guy, not that at all. Pills, medicine, vulgarity. I mean, it was so crazy. And it really made it's kind of like that Superman conundrum I run into sometimes with nearly perfect characters or morally perfect characters. This is not that. Like, this is a Charles that's like, hey, maybe I was a little pompous back in the day. Now I'm just kind of an old a-hole. But he's down to earth, kind of. Really powerful, which was crazy to see. So that was crazy to see Charles Xavier's powers in full effect, like crazy. Loved it. Yeah. Loved it, absolutely. Logan shined. I don't have too much to say about him because it was like everything we've seen over the years times a million. So that was cool. But the one that really stole the show for me,
It's X-23?
No.
Oh.
Caliban.
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
kidding. I'm just kidding, dude. It was totally,
I was going to say,
it was totally X-23.
Caliban was also a pretty good character in this. I mean, torn allegiance for Caliban.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Laura.
Yeah. So it was totally X-23. Great character, just done perfectly. And I was completely floored by that because I'm like, it's going to be okay, or, you know, we'll see how this turns out.
Yep.
Moment those claws came out, it was just wow factor. It was cool energy. Actress just hit it out of the park.
Yeah.
Like, I'm hoping for more solo movies of her.
Yeah.
You know, because that was cool. And it makes me want to go back and reread some of the books where some of those origin stories and just see how true they were, you know?
Yeah.
So like I was saying in previous videos, I want to get my hands on some of that literature, check it out. I love being informed. I love doing the comparison, and seeing what's true and what's not. So
for her acting, being silent through half of the movie, I think is what really also elevated her skills, because everything had to be conveyed by emotion, by the scene. So that was all very excellent to see all that. And then, once it finally got into her talking, she touched heartstrings. So, you know, I know there was a lot of people that mentioned they cried during the movie. I mean, there was a lot of sensitive moments, which worked well. Because, I mean, it counterbalanced the
Did you cry during the movie?
I did not, and surprisingly, my wife didn't either. I mean, she was really crying through a lot of different movies, but...
Yeah, like yours was Captain America. Or
yes,
whatever.
yeah. Bucky! But yeah.
Serious.
Yeah. Logan, it was a little bit more exploration of regret of past actions, discussions about, you know, like when he said, you know, I've killed people, and in X-23 or Laura says, you know, I've killed people too, bad people. Yep. And he says, still all the same, you carry it with you. So, I mean, it was just solid writing throughout the whole thing. With Charles, I mean, yeah, it was that grandfather or father wisdom. I mean, he did feel almost like Logan's father. I think at one point he even mentioned, you know, you're like the son I could have had.
I love the generations portrayal that they did, especially when meeting like the other family, and that was pretty cool.
So, I mean, all of that was just very intense. So it was excellent.
I see what you did there. How about that?
So then, let's talk about then the bad guy.
Okay.
Donald Pierce.
Yeah.
The Reavers.
Yeah.
I was reading X-Men at that time when the Reavers were big, the Siege Perils, their time in Australia where all these cyborgs, you know, tore through the X-Men.
Yeah.
And I loved that series.
Yeah.
And the modern take on them was very nice.
Yeah.
Everybody was a little cybernetic, had a little bit without doing too much. Going
But where's
over the
guy with the tank treads? I mean, come on.
I know.
Come on. And he actually has his own action figure. I totally forget his name right now.
Yeah.
He has his own action figure. I'm like, come on. That would have been so awesome with those awesome shades.
Yeah.
That is so iconic. Oh. Yeah, so I was a little bummed about that. One of my complaints was actually about Caliban. When did he become a vampire? Basically, that sunlight piece. Because I'm pretty sure I read a crap ton of 90s X-Force when he was part of the team, out in the sun, like whatever. Yeah,
I'm sure they had to.
That's weird.
Just play around a little bit more with that, and it also made the villains a little bit more shitty. Just because of you know, burning him, doing that kind of stuff. So I could understand that totally. Yeah. So you watch it, the people are walking by us.
Well, that guy totally just spit. It was gross. But,
all right. He must have been a Reaver. So I did like them. The scientist, I've seen him in so many silly parts, like Hudson Hawk and other movies like that. It was a little tough to take him serious as the main scientist. And especially because I have read some of the X-23 origin ones. Yeah. The scientists are really horrible, crappy people. Yeah. With how they tortured Laura and how bad they were. So things like you gotta work on your...
Gotta shift on the arm pod here.
Yeah. Just set it on the steering wheel. That, I mean, I almost feel like the villains weren't actually villainous enough. That they weren't crappy enough of the people. Yeah. Because, when you read the series, you're going to hate them to death. Okay. So.
Well, I will definitely have to read that, then. Yeah. Other than that,
It was interesting that they had to travel from Mexico to North Dakota.
I love the Dakotas being mentioned because they did drop South Dakota once or twice.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you mixing those up? Oh, it's Hollywood. Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, because I mean, he just mentioned that they were going to go somewhere. Mentioned South Dakota.
And I was like, yes, please stop.
At least they didn't say the Dakotas. So
yeah.
I was a little also surprised with, even being from South Dakota.
Yeah.
I mean, we have the Badlands, we have the mountains in the very far west of the state.
And that's how we're portrayed.
Well, it's just, I totally forget because we're East River, we're all flatlands. North Dakota is the Great Flat Plain.
Yeah.
You just forget about that there's even hills around here.
It's true.
So that was one of the things as they did that part of it. I was like, oh, yeah, all right. So
where was this filmed?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Well, I don't know. I honestly, I'm on fire about the movie. I would recommend it to anyone, comic book reader or not. I feel it is a great jumping on point for those that just want to learn more about the character. But in contrast, it's engaging enough for those that are an established reader to kind of make their own opinion on it. So I don't know. I would say definitely it's worth checking out. On a beer rating scale, I would go the full 6. I can't be greedy on this one.
I would say, yes, standing on its own, it was definitely a 6.
Yeah. Now, as part of the X-Men series that brought it down significantly, it'd probably be a 3. Because I would need beer to get through the rest of that.
Yeah. My only problem is I read Old Man Logan, Lemire run, I think it was Soul also did a run. There was ideas with that some of the bad things happened because of Logan, that the villains rose, and there was all these different ideas that can't actually be used because, Fox doesn't have the rights to all these other characters.
Good old Fox.
And so, I mean, there was so many different options. I was totally wrong. There was an idea that I had that Charles Xavier was 100% in Logan's mind. That's something that a PG movie, I think, would have done differently, that they would have tried to put a twist in there, all this stuff. Mm-hmm. This is just a solid movie, written in a solid idea perfectly.
A lot of solidity.
Yeah.
That's a great word.
So, yeah, it was a very good movie.
Awesome. Well, again, you guys, I recommend it. I have nothing but great things to say about it. I'll probably tweet the crap out of it tonight. I love it, and it was so fun. So thank you, Marvel Fox, for getting it right. It only took you over a decade, but hey, who's counting?
Yep.
Loved it. So.
All right.
Well,
we're fogging up the windows here, so.
Ow! Talking about that, I gotta slap my hand on the window and yell, "No, Logan," or "Yes, Logan," or whatever. TBD. So, anyways, you guys, claws out and whatever. I'm not gonna run with that one. Anyways, keep it camera. All right, keep it comics for sure. And thank you guys for tuning in. Boom.